That's what we're going for. All right, hopefully everybody sat down, got their guitar in tune. I'm just going to go ahead and get started today. I'm going to start trying to do this. When I'm editing the first part of junk off of this, I can never figure out where the heck I'm supposed to start editing from. And if I start doing that, it'll make life a little bit easier. All right, welcome everybody. We're going to get started. What we're playing today is Brother John, and then we're going to play a level 2 song and a level 3 song. I don't remember what they are right off the top of my head, but we'll get them done. Oh, we're playing Happy Birthday today. I know that's one of those. Today is my niece's birthday, so it seemed fitting. All right. Let's go to Brother John, your sheet music. That's a level 1 song. For those of you who are new to this style of play, what I teach is fingerstyle playing. What I don't, I teach only enough chord stuff to keep you from losing your minds. When you meet other guitar players, they always know their chords. They don't necessarily know how to play melody, and that's what I teach. That's the main thing that I think is important for you to be able to do as a next level guitarist. Couple of things about tuning and posture. If you are new to tuning the guitar, you absolutely want to own one of these. Okay, where am I going? It's called a Snark Tight HZ. Get that to clear up. That's what you want to own. This is top of the line Snark. It's the most expensive one you can get. It's the one you want to own. It has a high definition screen and it has an ultra advanced computer, or I don't know how ultra advanced, but it's more advanced than the other ones. That $9 tuner you got from Amazon, it's going to break. When it breaks, get one of these, and you can download a tuner onto your phone. They're not near as accurate as something like this, but at least you've got it on. You never are anywhere without your phone. So at least you have a tuner with you all the time that way. And they don't really work when there's a lot of noise. Sometimes, probably even today, you'll hear a siren go past the window here, and it just throws those kind of tuners off. And a clip-on tuner, it doesn't throw those off. The $9 ones will break, and they're not accurate. So don't get one of the cheap tuners. Get a decent tuner. That's one of those things I think that's just going to change your life for the good. Then let's also remember that the phrase that pays, Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye, Eddie. That's a phrase that I want you to carry into life and share it with everybody. Good, E-A-D-G-B. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. There's several others out there that are fun, but that's the one that I think should be standard because it's hilarious. Okay, holding your guitar, back of the guitar is against your body. Okay, guitar is sitting between your legs. Now let's talk about this. My job is to show you the correct way to do it, and your job is to try to mess that up and question it. Okay. I want to show you the correct way to play a guitar, and then if you decide you're going to play it cowboy style, well, by golly, you're going to do that. Okay, you're going to make your life harder, but you'll see that everywhere you go. Cowboys sitting down with their guitar horizontal and their thumb sticking way up here. A lot of times it's hanging over the top. That's for electric guitar players. That's not for acoustic guitar players. Frankly, it shouldn't be for electric guitar players either if they were a little more careful, but they're pounding on it, so they have to stop those upper strings from ringing, and so their thumb will be stopping that string often. So putting it down, dropping this knee is up high. I've got it on one of those little guitar stools, and this is like this. And if you stand up to play guitar, your guitar will naturally fall into that position anyway. So if you're practicing at home sitting down, you want to practice in the position that you're going to be playing when you stand up. And maybe you make it to Red Rocks, maybe you don't, but the idea is you should want to get yourself prepared for that. And by holding the guitar correctly, that's what you're working on. If you hold it any other way, you're going to make your life harder. Okay, so this is correct. It goes down between your legs. Feels super awkward in the beginning, and after a while, you're just like, oh, that's just where you hold the guitar. So, and then this leg is up higher, and this leg I usually have almost tucked underneath the chair, underneath me. It's probably better if it's flat-footed, but find something to do with that right foot where it's feeling happy. Guitar should be about a 60-degree angle. This should be uncomfortably close to your face, and your face is going to be right about the 3rd fret. Okay, so about there is where your eyeballs are going to end up looking. Okay, Last thing to think about in terms of guitar posture is this thumb, pad of your thumb. It's going to ride on the back side of this neck. I'm never going to see your thumb up here like this. You're just going to be hanging out down here for the rest of your life. There's no classical guitar video you will ever see where their thumb is sticking up here. It just doesn't happen. Okay. So it's going to be down here. And when we talk about classical guitar, we use that as our example of how to do everything correctly. It's not necessarily the music you want to listen to. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But we take them as our models of how to do things correctly, because those guys are sitting down and practicing for 5 hours every single day. They have to do it right or they're going to die. And so I like to teach you guys the correct way that they have taught me to do it. I think that's what we want to do. Yeah, there's tons of rock guitar guys giving lessons on YouTube that are amazing. I mean, amazing stuff that they teach you. But they're tough guys, right? And they may or may not be necessarily be doing things the easiest way for you. They don't mind working the hard way through, and I want you to have an easier go of it. So your thumb is out of the way. Your thumb is hanging out behind your middle finger all the time. No matter where your middle finger is, that's where your thumb is. Okay, so that's how we're going to do that. And then we're going to number our strings. String number 1 is on the bottom. String number 1 is farthest away from your face. String number 6 is closest to your face. So this is 6 and this is 1. That will become important later on down the road when you're plucking the wrong strings. So today, for Brother John, let's go ahead and take a brief view of your sheet music. Brother John, there says left hand, index, middle, ring, pinky, and which fingers you're going to use over here. We'll talk about that in just a second. There's an alternate E chord, which I want you to ignore for now. And then there's an E chord. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Quarter note equals 80. That's how fast you're supposed to play it. When you are new, you should play everything at half speed. Just magically just decide I'm going to play things much slower than I'm supposed to, because if we play too fast, then we're going to end up making mistakes and choosing poor fingering and all this stuff and just really delaying our success. Okay. Underneath that is the treble clef. Once you can draw that without looking at it, you're a musician and you are officially eligible to buy the tea towel that hangs on your stove and to get the coffee mug. Okay, so learn to draw the treble clef. After that, you see some hashtags. You can ignore those because we are never going to talk about those, probably ever. After that, you see 4/4. That's critical information. What that 4/4 means, the top 4 means you're going to have 4 beats in every measure. The bottom 4, we can ignore what that means. Okay, so that top 4 is very important. After that, you're going to see 2 double bars and 2 dots. That's a forward repeat. When we repeat in this song, we're going to go back up there. And then you see on the upper line, the chords and lyrics line, you see the actual real standard notation. That's what classical guitar players play from. They play from those notes. Okay. Underneath that, you're going to see the guitar melody line. That's called tablature. That's what you and I are going to play from, and that's going to make the most sense for all fretted instruments. The tablature is an amazing. You're going to know how to read it and play it here before we walk out of here in the next 10, 15 minutes. And then under that, you have tough acts, which is where I combine the chord and the melody into one line. And at level 1, we don't worry about that. You don't need to know that stuff yet. You just need to know that it's there and it's a line and it's going to be how you play for the rest of your life. If you're an adult and you want to play well, that's the line you're going to be playing. Okay. You have strings 1 through 6. You have frets going all the way. Some people call this up and some people call this down the fretboard. I don't know how to refer to it, but I do know that this is fret number 1. This is fret 2. Fret 3, fret 4. At fret 5, you probably have a dot on yours. My dots are hidden over here on the side. You might have them over here on the side of your guitar. Know that there's a dot on 5. There's a dot on 7. Most guitars have them on 5 and 7, and almost all guitars have them on 9 as well. It's kind of irritating because it should be on 10, but they are put them on 9 because they look prettier there. And then you might have a dot on 12, maybe not. Sometimes you have a fancy dot on 12. So for this song, we're going to be playing in just the first string, and we're going to be picking out our frets. Okay, so on the sheet music, it says OMPO, which means open, middle, pinky, open. What you're going to do is pluck the first note open, then you're going to pluck a middle, that's on 2, then on pinky on 4, and then open again. So let's play that a few times. 0, 2, 4, 0, 0, 2, 4, 0. 0, 2, 4, 0. One more time. 0, 2, 4, 0. The first two measures of your sheet music, that measure is where the vertical lines are. You're going to play that exact pattern twice. Okay, so 0, 2, 4, 0, and then 0, 2, 4, 0 again. Here's what's exciting. I teach the same song to ukulele players, but their frets are much closer together, and it sounds way better on this than on ukulele. Okay, because your guitar is going to ring out. It's going to sound beautiful. It's got a lot of sustain that ukulele doesn't have, and so it almost sounds like, man, I'm playing legit music, and I'm just playing this very basic song. And please, as you're as you're getting into guitar, know that there's no such thing as basic in music. This stuff, everything on this page is what you're going to need to know to play the very most advanced piece of music in level 4. And so what you're learning here is big time. This is going to be everything you need to take you down the road. And so don't neglect really conquering this page. Okay, let's go into measures 3 and 4. The notes we need to play are 4, 5, 7, and we're going to do it twice, but we're going to also practice it about 20 times. Okay, so index finger on 4, middle finger on 5, and pinky finger on 7. Okay, that's what we're doing. All on the first string. 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7. And notice I'm not lifting these guys up. I'm just adding on. It's because I'm going this direction on the fretboard. I can leave that guy planted while I put this one and then add that one. 4, 5, 7. Okay. Hard part of the song is the next part. We're going to start with ring finger on 7. 7. You're going to put your pinky finger on 9. Go back to your ring finger on 7. Go grab 5 with your middle finger, grab 4 with your index, and then open. Let's do it together. 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, open. 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 Okay, that's what you're going to be playing on measures 5 and 6. And then measure 7 and 8, we get to do something very exciting. You're looking at the upper line there. 0 on the first string, 0 on the second string, 0 on the first string, 0 on the first string, 0 on the second string, 0 on the first string. And this is the point where we talk about the fact that tablature is written upside down. If you hold your guitar up to your sheet music, then it makes sense. Then all of a sudden string 1 is on the top of the paper and string 6 is on the bottom of the paper, and that makes sense. The problem is when you get it into playing position, everything's upside down and string 1 is down there. So that takes about 2 weeks to get used to that, and then you won't think about it ever again. The very first published piece of tablature, it actually had it the other direction, and somewhere during the 16th century they changed it to 1600s, the 17th century they changed it, and so it's now upside down, which is actually meant to be pedagogical. There is a reason why it's upside down. It's just a little bit annoying when you first run into it. After you've been playing a little while, you won't think about that anymore. All right, I'd like to play the whole song top to bottom. Let's just go measure 1 through measure 8, then we'll stop and talk about repeats. Okay, so from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Open 2, 4. Open, open 2, 4. Open 4, 5, 7. 4, 5, 7. 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, 0, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, 0. First string, second string, first string, first string, second string, first string. Okay, so we played through measure 8. When you get to the bottom of measure 8, you're supposed to go back up and play it all again. The second time you come through, you don't play measure 8. You see there's a bracket above there that says 1, and you play that the first time through, and then, but not the second time through. The second time through, we skip measure 8 and we go to measure 9. Now, I'm going to give you your challenge piece, okay? This is what you're working on today if you're new to fingerstyle guitar, if you're new to plucking melody, okay? You're going to play from the top to the bottom, and then you're going to go back and you're going to play from the top to the bottom, okay? The second time through, don't play measure 8. The first time through, you do play measure 8. But the big challenge for your night is to get measures 5 and 6. We've been playing it as 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, 0. We're out of timing on that. What we're supposed to play is 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, 0. So we're supposed to play that twice as fast. Here's what's cool about music. It's all relative. You know you want to play that faster, so let's play the beginning part a little slower so that you got a chance at shooting it correctly when you get to measures 5 and 6. Let's go to the beginning. We're going to play through as if it's the second time. When we get to the bottom, we're going to not play 8. We're going to play 9 and 10. And we're going to play measures 5 and 6 at correct speed, which means I'm going to slow the whole thing down so that we're likely to be successful. From the top to the bottom, skip measure 8, play a little slower. 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 2, 4, 0, 0, 2, 4, 0. Pinky or index 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7. Twice as fast. 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, 0, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, 0. First string, second string, first string, measure 9. First string, second string, first string, and let it ring. If you decide I'm sick of this guitar ringing, take your palm, slide it up onto the strings this way. Don't slap them down, just slide it up on there and it's going to sound prettier. Okay? All right, that's how you pluck the melody. There is a tough axe line. I don't want you to worry about it right now. Frankly, on these one-chord songs, they're too hard anyway. They're frankly too hard for me to play. We could pull it off, right? We could go through and talk about that, but we've got better songs to talk about tough axe on than this one. The only other thing on this page that's important for you to learn is the E chord. Okay, you got all your strings here. Index finger always, not always, about 99% of the time, you're going to put your index finger down first, and it's going to go third string, first fret, middle finger on the top, second to top string, fifth string, and then ring finger goes right under that, fourth string, second fret. Okay, so that's what you're looking at to get this chord on. Thumb sitting right behind my middle finger there. That's where it's supposed to be. Okay, not showing up above the fretboard. That's going to sound beautiful. When you are first starting, it's going to feel like you're having to squeeze really hard. And we want you to only squeeze hard enough to be effective. But in the beginning, you're going to have to squeeze pretty hard because the muscle that you need to develop is this muscle right here. Okay, and that muscle isn't there yet, probably. So you're going to have to squeeze kind of hard. And by squeezing hard, it'll start to develop. Okay, we're going to do 4 strums in each one. I like this strum. You can play all 6 strings. 1, 2, ready, play. Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous. Sonnez les matines, sonnez les matines, ding, dang, dong, ding, dang, dong. Now we're supposed to repeat there, go back and play it a second time. That's when you would sing the English versions of the song. Okay, and then come around. When you hit the end, let the guitar ring and leave your chord placed on there. It's going to sound better. Okay, that's how we get started with strumming. Just a nice, easy thumb down strum. There's lots of other strum patterns, lots of other right hand pattern stuff that we'll do, and we will be talking about those as we go on through today. Probably talking about some of that stuff. Okay, so if you're new to fingerstyle guitar, you will do yourself a huge favor by really tackling this piece and really getting to know it, plucking the melody and strumming the chords, and then in levels 2 and 3, we start putting that whole concept together into one complete package. Okay, question. If you have any questions, chat bar is over here. If you want to remain anonymous, like I don't want anybody to know I'm here, you don't need to participate, obviously. And so that's where you can ask questions or whatever. So that's Brother John. Biggest thing that Brother John does is teach us how to read tablature. Once you can read tablature, you can play that darn ukulele. You can play a banjo. You can play a mandolin. All tablature is the same for fretted instruments. And so by learning that, you're learning all those other instruments at the same time. And then by spending a lot of time getting really quality music out of your instrument, you will then take that skill set to those other instruments, and suddenly your friends are like, man, you can play anything. And you're like, no, I can play tablature. Okay, let's move on to song number 2, which is, what are we playing today? Oh, God, we had to play Hokey Pokey yesterday. We don't want to play any more Hokey Pokey. Let's play, what comes next in this book 2? Hush Little Baby. Okay, Hush Little Baby is a lullaby. It's a super, super old-fashioned song. Most of you youngins don't know this song, and which is fine. It's not that great of a song. But this is an important concept that we have to learn in this one. Book number 2 is about switching from one chord to its best friend and back. That's all we're doing. And we're in that level. I think there's 12 or 16 chords. I can't remember off the top of my head, that you've got to learn. They're all important guitar chords, and we're going to learn to switch back and forth from the main chord to its best friend and back. That's what every single song in this book does. That helps get your chords in place. Most guitar teachers, that's all they teach you is guitar chords, and then they expect you to sing. If you don't like singing, then that's why you have to learn to read tablature. And so and obviously you heard me sing. It's not good. I shouldn't be singing at all. The thing that we're after is getting you where you have the option of singing or not. Okay, so again, our main chord here is E chord, index, middle, and ring. You play all 6 strings. It's a good sounding chord, right? Hopefully that's going well for you. At home, you may be hearing some of this, right? And that's just how you're playing E chord right now. It does go away. Don't worry about it right now. If you're making terrible sounds, it'll go away, I promise, right? Okay. The next chord is B7. B7's a bit of a tough one, okay? Index finger is going to move up 1 string. Middle finger is going to stay right where it is. Ring finger is going to drop 1 string, and then you're going to add your pinky onto the bottom string. Okay, big thing here is we got to make sure that the strings that we're not laying down on top of the string below it, right? So make sure your fingers are coming in at a pretty steep angle. That's why it's so important to have your thumb in the correct position so that you can get a nice round shape on your hand here. There's a nice C shape here. That's how we get our fingers coming down directly on the points into into our string set. Okay, if you're coming in at too much of an angle, you're going to end up with dead sounds, and that's not what we want. Okay. Other thing, when I'm playing, hopefully my arm is staying in a nice straight position here. As you get more into guitar and further along, you want to have very good posture. You'll notice with me, I have this tendency for my hand to end up way out here. That's not ideal because all of a sudden now my arm has to be out there to support that, and it's not ideal. We really want this guitar at a nice position, right? We want to have everything just sort of letting gravity do its job, keeping that straight, nice straight spine. If you I have a tendency to lean forward when I'm playing, especially when I'm on this video. I'm trying to get my head set properly. And so I notice when I'm done teaching these classes, my back hurts, right? Because I'm not staying in a good upright position. Okay. All right. That's what we're going for with the B7. Let's go back and forth a couple times. E chord. 1, 2, 3, and switch. And switch. Switch. And then back to E, just finish up. Okay. And I would tell you that you could spend an entire week just doing that exact activities. E, B7. E, B7 until your hands get where it's almost automatic. You notice just now I'm fighting B7 a little bit. I didn't spend enough time warming up. Okay, song is in 4. Okay, and you're supposed to sing this song 4 times through. We're going to sing it 1 time through because it's a tiny bit annoying. Okay, and our goal, don't care about the songs. Seriously, don't worry about the song or who wrote it or any of that. Care about whether you can do the skill set associated with the song. That's what's going to matter. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Papa's gonna buy you a mockingbird. And if that mockingbird won't sing, then Papa's gonna buy you a diamond ring. And blah, blah, and then you go back, okay? So then you repeat. You're going to do that 3 times, 4 times. On the last time through, the 4th time through, don't play measure 8, do play measure 9, okay? So measure 8, you're supposed to go into it 3 times and then not go into the last time, play measure 9. That's a skill that all guitar players have to get where they're pretty good at. E, B7, okay, and this is just a very nice song to get a lot of opportunities to switch back and forth between those two. Next, we're going to play the melody. If you have been with me a little while, then plucking the melody is no big deal anymore. That's what level 1 is for, is to get you where you're comfortable plucking melody. And so at level 2, sort of the expectation that you're doing okay with that. When I'm getting ready to pluck a melody, the first thing I do is go through and look for any tragedies that might befall me here shortly. And the first thing I see is a bunch of 4s and 5s. And I'm like, oh, goodness. 4 I'm covered for. Index, middle, ring, pinky. I've got my pinky. I'm covered for it. And then I got those darn 5s. So my pinky's probably going to have to slide up to get those 5s. Or, since there are no 1s, why don't I play the song in 2nd position? Now my index, middle, pinky, and ring, now I'm going to use them here. Okay, same exact arrangement as my open position, but now I'm going to slide it up here to play this whole song. And so now my 2s are going to be with my index finger. 3s, if there were any, I don't think there are any, are going to be played with my middle finger. Ring finger is 4 and pinky finger is 5. Now I can play the entire song in 2nd position, and I'm not going to move anything, and I'm not going to miss anything. So that's what we're going to try. Okay, it's positional strategy. And by the way, guys, it's important to get where you can play melody from tab, because when you get together with your other guitar friends, they only know how to play chords. They don't know how to play melody. They sing, right? And that's why we get smaller groups of people interested in instrumental guitar, because guitar generally is for singers. They're using a few chords to back up their voice. If you aren't that person, you use instrumental guitar to back up your to eliminate the need to use your voice, okay? And then so when you get with other guitar players, you can play melody, they can play chords, you have a lovely duet. Nobody has to sing, and usually that's a good thing, usually, right? Unless you got somebody who really knows how to sing. Let's play from the top. We're going to do it twice through. So we'll do it all the way to measure 8, then we'll go back and we'll play it all the way through. Skip measure 8 the last time through. We'll play measures 9 and 10. Okay, so twice through, starting at the top. 1, 2, ready, play. Oh, 4, 4, 5, 4, 2, 2. Oh, 2, 2, 2. 2, 4, 2. Oh, 4, 4, 5, 4, 2, 2. 2, 2, 2, 2. 2, 4, 2. One more time. 4, 4, 5, 4, 2, 2. 2, 2, 2. 2, 4, 2. 4, 4, 5, 4, 2, 2. 2, 2, 2, 2. 2, 4, 2. Let it ring. that's what you're after. Man, let me give you a brief advertisement over on denverguitarorchestra.com on the sheet music page. At the very top of the sheet music page, there's an MP3 of every single song in the program. Even a lot of the songs that I don't post the sheet music for on that page, they're all on there. You should go listen. If you're going to tackle one of these songs, just go listen to that a half a dozen times or 200 times or however many times it takes so that you know what's going on in the song. So you really know how to play the song in your mind, and then you just have to convert that into playing it with your body. And so like a song like this that's very old-fashioned that you may or may not know, you will know it because you've already listened to the recording 20 times, and then it's much easier to tackle. At this level, level 2, I don't really expect you to be able to play tough acts particularly well, but I do want you to know what it is, and so we're going to run through that very quickly. We're going to start by always in fingerstyle grabbing the chord, okay? And in this case, we start with an E chord. And then notice when we strum that first strum, we're not going to play the first string. So our thumb is going to come down and it's going to rest on the first string because we're not going to play it. It's called a rest stroke. And it rests as if it's sitting on a hammock. That way there's no way that string's accidentally going to go off. And it also has the happy consequence of when your thumb comes down, you have a tendency to hit the last string a little harder as you're getting ready to dive into holding that there. And that's very pleasant, okay? Now, all of these songs can be played with just your thumb going down on those chords. Every single song in the book is designed that way on purpose. But if you are a next level player or a teacher, you are looking at doing a claw position, right? And playing it that way and making best string choices you can. I would say that this is not necessarily better than this, but it's different. And so if you're going to play this song 4 times through, maybe a couple of times you play it this way and a couple of times you play it this way, right? Use all of your tools that you can to get better at playing. And sometimes that means sounding terrible, right? I sound terrible a lot when I play because I'm trying to experiment and find the best way to play. Okay, let's go through it very slowly. Notice you got some 4s with this E chord. That hurts. Okay, look how far away my pinky is from my ring finger. That's going to be one of those things you're like, what, do I really have to do that? And yeah, you really have to do that. Okay, nice and slow. Tough acts is not really meant for group play, but see what you can do. If you're not ready for this level, strum the chords or play the melody with me. One of the two. 1, 2, 3, 4. Strum, strum, strum. 5, B7, 4, 2, 2. Strum, oh, strum, 2, strum, 2, 4. E chord with a 2. Strum, open, open, oh, strum, 4, 4, 5, B7 with a 4, strum, 2, 2, 2, strum, oh, strum, 2, strum, 2, 4, E chord with the 2, strum, oh, and then you repeat. Okay, so that's what we're working on there. If you are new to this, just chew your thumb down. If you've been around a while, try both strum, thumb, and plucking. And then do know that this song is not necessarily really a great fingerstyle song because you're having to do these huge reaches. And so knowing what you're supposed to do and being willing to actually do it, maybe or maybe not, it might be worth your effort or not. What I know is for sure that B7 shape with your pinky up here hurts like heck when you're first starting. You're like, I can't do that. That's not going to happen. And it is going to happen. We just got to spend some time doing our exercises. Pinky out. Mr. Spock. Don't know what that is. Thumbs. Then do this, 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 and this. Just get where your fingers have that independence and you're loosening up your tendons between those fingers so that everything can get nice and pretty and soft. Particularly if you're getting older hands and you're like, oh, I'm getting some arthritis setting in, that type of work is going to be important. Brief discussion of arpeggios. I don't expect that to be something you do at level 2, but if you are reading, what you're really working on there is thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring, and then when you switch the chord to the B7, you're actually going to move your thumb down to the second, fifth string. Let me do it right. So E chord, B7, E, B. Now, if I'm a singer, I'm not going to do either of those. I'm going to do just stick to these middle 4. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Papa's gonna buy me a mockingbird. And if that mockingbird don't sing, Papa's gonna buy me a diamond ring. Okay. All of a sudden, I sound super fancy, like I really know how to play guitar. I haven't had to do anything on this hand. I've just had to be a little bit smarter with this hand, and I sound a little bit more legit. So you'll see a lot of country players doing that, where they're holding some fairly basic chords over here, but just killing this hand and just really doing some beautiful work on that hand. Dolly Parton's that player. If you watch her chords over here are very simple because she's got those crazy fingernails, but her right hand is just going to town like you're like, oh my gosh, that girl can really arpeggiate, and that's what you're after as well, is trying to get good at that. Okay. All right. Hush, little baby. That should give you a little bit to work on tonight, I hope. All right, let's go to number 3. We have Happy Birthday, and it's my niece's birthday today. So it turns out this song's going to come up in your life. Happy birthday. And so you might as well put it to memory, right? You're going to be playing Happy Birthday on guitar for people, and why not get good at it? Okay. Let's run through the chords very quickly. First chord, G chord, one of the harder chords when you first get started. Eventually it becomes which G chord that am I going to use, right? So the index finger, 5th string, 2nd fret, middle finger, 3rd fret, top string, and ring finger right there. 1st string, 3rd fret. Beautiful chord. If you want to get fancy, switch your ring finger up 1 string and then put your pinky on that bottom string. Sounds a little fancier. Okay. The other one that a lot of guitar teachers will teach you, ring finger, middle finger, and then your pinky finger on that bottom string. The reason they teach you that one is that it makes it easier to get to a C chord, and then very easy to get to a fake F chord, back to C chord, back to G chord. Okay. And you'll see that a lot, especially with singers who are they don't really care about being great at this. They just care about having a pretty decoration in front of them, and they know they're going to sing in the key of C. They'll do that finger pattern, and it's very, very common when you're watching like American Idol or those kinds of things, where they'll be having this very simple 2-chord thing going up and down, and maybe they get their index finger on right, maybe they don't, but it's a way to play quickly and effectively without actually learning to play or be effective. Okay, so that's your G chord. I just always use this one for the most part. I think it's the best one. D chord, 3rd string, 2nd fret, middle finger, 1st string, 2nd fret, ring finger reaches out, 3rd fret, 2nd string. And that's your D. D, you want to play the bottom 4 strings. If you hit the 5th string, it's not the end of the world. Don't hit the 6th string. It sounds terrible. If you're connected to an amplifier, that will turn into pure mania coming out of your amplifier, so you don't want to do that. Okay? And then the only other chord in the song, well, there are actually 2 others, I should say that. Measure 4, 5, measure 6 is a C chord. Okay, C chord is one of the harder ones you learn in the beginning. Index finger on 2, middle finger, 4th string, 2nd fret. Ring finger is on the 5th string, 3rd fret. We want to just play 5 strings for this one. Sounds really beautiful. If you hit the 6th string, it's not the end of the world. And then the only other chord in here, the next to last chord, is a D7. It's going to be surprising how fast this goes ripping by. Index finger on first fret, second string, middle finger, third fret, second fret, third string, and then ring finger is first string, second fret. Okay. When you're playing guitar and you see a seventh chord, there's a kind of a tension in it. Wang, because it wants to become a D, G, right? Wham, bum, 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 bum. So seventh chords create some drama in the melody and in the sound that you're making and turn it magically into a resolution, right? So seventh chords, when we're trying to figure out officially for sure what key we're playing in, we look to the seventh chords and seeing what they're resolving to. And typically the seventh chords will resolve to the main chord of the song. It's not always true. Tin Pan Alley songs, they messed around with seventh chords a lot. And so sometimes they would resolve into the wrong thing, which is actually kind of fun. All right, let's get our chords on. First time, we're going to play it twice through, okay? First time through, I want you to just strum, happy birthday to you, like that, okay? Second time through, the song's in 3, so let's just pick a 3 pattern. 1, 2, 3, happy birthday to you, right? And then make sure you change your chords. If that's too much for you, just keep strumming, okay? I'm going to sing happy, and then you're going to jump in for me. 1, 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joshua. Let it ring. Happy birthday to you. Let's go it again. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joshua. Happy birthday to you. My timing was all over the place, but you got the idea, right? Is to just go through and pluck and mess around with that a little bit and see what you have to do. You can play the arpeggio pattern that I wrote down if you want. You can make up your own arpeggio pattern. You're just holding the chords and picking some strings. Any low, middle, high. You can do that. You can just stick with the middle strings. I tended to go with the upper strings that time around. If you're in 3, you should pick either 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or you pick 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's probably the best pattern that you would choose. That's what I wrote in the arpeggio, was a 6 pattern. I tried to make it where it kind of flowed through there. That's actually a pretty tough arpeggio that I wrote out, so you might mess with that and see if that works for you. All right, play the melody very quickly. What time is it? Well, we got a couple minutes. Let's play the melody. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's in 3. I'm going to count in 2, and then we're going to go. 1, 2, 3, 3, oh, 3, 3, 2, 3, 3, oh, 3, 5, 3, 3, 3, 10, 7, 3, 2, 0, 8, 8, 7, 3, 5, 3. And probably should have discussed that we're going all the way up to 10, right? We're going to go up to 10, and we also have an 8 in there, right? So those are going to require some strategy from you as a melody player. When I get to those 8s and 7s and 10s, what position am I going to be playing in? And then try to come up with a rule for yourself about, hey, I'm going to always hit that 10 with my pinky, or you might hit your 10 with the ring finger, and frankly, you hit the 10 with your index finger, as long as you know what your next move is, right? So pick a finger, and then I even write it right on my sheet music. I got a new piece of sheet music here, so I didn't write it down, but I will write down when I get those high notes. You just play with this with your pinky. That way your 7 is on your index finger. Figure that out and make sure that you have a decision in advance what you're going to do, and then stick to that decision. I think it'll make you faster, make you sound better. Okay. All right. Last piece of thing that we need to work on is we're going to run through the tough acts really quickly. For those of you who are comfortable with this makes a lot of sense. This song is actually fairly cooperative on tough acts. For those of you who are brand new, this is probably not, you're probably not quite ready for this. That's okay. This is hard. What we do in tough acts, we take the chord, we take the melody, and we let the melody be in charge of the chord. So we're going to start by holding the chord, but then we may have to modify that chord as we're strumming down to get the correct fingering on here. Okay, so in this case, the first chord is a G chord, but notice that there's no 3 when we get to measure underneath birthday. It's just a 4 zeros. Okay, so that's what we're actually going to play. So we're still holding the G chord. We're just not going to hold this finger down. Okay, the first 2 notes, we got to hold those 2 down. So I'm going to go ahead and put my ring finger there to get started. And then let's go and see what other tragedies befall us. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 3, strum, 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 D chord, strum, let it ring, 3, 3, modify, strum, 3, big reach, strum, strum, 3, 3, up to 10, strum, 7, strum, 3, strum, D chord, strum, C chord, strum, by the pinky, 8, 8, 7, 3, 3, 5, 7, 5, whatever that is, and then a full-blown G chord. What you're after. Okay, we'll go back through and we'll play it in one more second. The hard challenge there, notice the last note, happy birthday, 2, when you're singing it, you're going to use this D7. To you. When you're doing fingerstyle, you're going to, this is a D7, this is also a D7, where you're going to put 2 5s and probably your pinky on here. 5, 7, 5. That's also a D7. The reason we use this D7 is your melody note's sitting on the first string at the 5, and there's no way to reach all the way down. You probably could, but it was going to be really unpleasant. So instead we use 2 5s and a 7, and then we go get our G chord. And I put the fancy G chord on here for no reason, but I think it's a fun activity to try to get it on. Okay, let's play through it one more time. Happy birthday. All right, that's how we play that. Don't treat this as a rule book. Treat this as suggestions, and spend a little bit of time coming up with your best happy birthday. They're all over. It's a song that you're likely to get to play at some point for somebody, so it might not be a bad idea to get really good at it. All right, paperwork stuff. If you have any comments, you can use the chat box over there. If you haven't subscribed yet, it might make sense. That way you don't have to go through denverguitarorchestra.com to get the link to come here. Just come directly to YouTube and hit refresh on my page until the session pops up. Thumbs up, thumbs down, doesn't matter. If you want to mark that on your thummy thing, that is always helpful to let Google know we exist. And then all of the resources are at denverguitarorchestra.com. We've been doing this program for quite a few years. It turns you into a very fine fingerstyle player and makes you orchestra ready if you want to do any of that type of musical playing. And certainly, if you're not in Denver, you could become the person who handles this for your community. Every single person has a guitar sitting under their bed, and they all bought it in the 70s, and it's still sitting there, and they haven't played it in 20 years. I get that person in my classrooms all the time, and you could save that person. The reason they quit playing was Joni Mitchell stopped being cool. They learned how to strum and sing her song, or Puff the Magic Dragon, or whatever it was back in the day, whatever it was for Bob Dylan, or whatever song it was that they happened to learn to get enough chords where they could sing and strum it. But then they got bored with that because you get stuck just playing chords. And if you have fingerstyle arrangements, if you have tablature, if you can read music, if you can make the melody come out of the guitar instead of out of your face, there's no end to the number of songs that you can play and that you're going to want to play. All of a sudden, playing Bach and Mozart and Chopin makes sense to you. And playing Bob Dylan, yeah, you could probably still knock some of that out. You're going to play Stairway to Heaven fingerstyle, do every single one of those notes, and it sounds super cool. You're going to play Pink Floyd differently. You're not going to be able to sing like those guys. So let's get where you can play the melody. Whatever song it is that you happen to grow up that you think is cool, there's a fingerstyle arrangement for you out there. Beware when you're downloading fingerstyle stuff from the internet. It's always written out by the guy who plays it his way, and sometimes it's playable, but for the most part, my experience with free internet tablatures, most of it's not very playable. And so that's one of the things I want you to, if you come to this site, we're going to get you decent sheet music that I designed specifically to be playable. And then once you get your skill set, then you can go look at some of that other tablature and see if it works for you. If you'll go look at the sheet music page at denverguitarorchestra.com, I think there's over 120 something songs on there, and some of them are pretty legit and really good. And I think it would behoove you to really study up on this stuff. Don't be thinking as a guitar player you're going to go from song to song to song to song to song. Get really good at the tools, and then you can play anything. But if you're busy working on, whatever song was my favorite song when I was 17, you'll end up chasing songs and not necessarily having the skills to play them, and that's not ideal. So enough for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Stay inside and stay safe from this messy mess that's going on out there. We have guitar. We're going to be fine. So just spend a little bit of time doing that. I hope you have a wonderful night. If you're not on an email list, get on it at denverguitarorchestra.com, and I send out an email almost every day to invite you to come to this, and hopefully you learn something. Hopefully you find a new technique or a new something to work on guitar. Have a wonderful night. I hopefully will see you tomorrow, and I am going to end the stream. Have a wonderful evening, you guys. Oh, thanks, Nikki. Glad you were here. Hopefully I said something that helped as of yesterday. Also, be absolutely fine with sending me emails. It really helps me know what things you're teaching in this manner. I'm positive you're all playing exactly perfectly and you sound amazing. When I get you face to face, I understand things aren't necessarily that way. So don't be shy about sending me emails and saying, hey, this is going great, or this is going terrible, or I didn't understand when you said this, that, or the other thing. Nikki did that for me the other day. Really helped me out knowing what I need to do to teach you guys. And so hopefully, you'll feel comfortable doing that. So have a wonderful night. I'll talk to you later. Ending this stream.